Hi everyone, and welcome to day one of our social media challenge. I wanted to start by introducing myself to those of you who are new to my community. My name is Tova Gar, and I'm a life and empowerment coach, and I specialize in working with teens and their parents. My goal is to help you as a parent understand your teen so you can support them in a way that they can hear and accept the support that I know you so deeply want to give them. As we know, during the teen years, that's not always possible. And what I also do is I support teens. I support girls, but let's be honest, boys as well, to be able to really navigate through this time in life that feels so difficult and challenging. And is a time in life where they're really deciding a lot about who they are, what they believe in, what they believe about themselves, which is going to affect the rest of their lives and the choices they make in the rest of their lives. And I do this at a time when I know that talking to you, their parents, can sometimes feel really impossible. So I'm glad that you decided to join us today as we take a step really diving into the world of social media so I can help you understand what is the world that they're growing up in. Because let's face it, if you're as old as I am, whether you're a little bit younger or a little bit older, if you are old enough to have a child who is entering their preteens, we did not grow up with cell phones. We did not grow up with social media as it is, and it really had nothing to do with our lives. And this has a huge impact on who they are and who they're becoming as teens. Are they going through the same stuff that we went through as we were teens? 100%. Are they going through social drama? Are they going through figuring out their sexuality? Are they figuring out who they are, what they believe in? Are they pushing away from you as their parents and trying to assert their independence? Figuring out who they are and where they belong is their number one job right now. They're still doing that. That has not changed, and social media hasn't changed it. But the way that they're doing it, the way they're interacting with it, and in what way it is taking over or controlling their life has changed dramatically. And it changes more and more every day. And since we really didn't grow up with it, the truth is that we're never really quite going to understand what it's like. We're just not going to, because it's not part of who we are, no matter how tech savvy we are, no matter how much the little thing that I'm talking into right now controls our life. We're just not going to. So because we don't, first of all, sometimes it's going to be really hard for us to understand our teenagers and the place that it fills in their lives, but we can do our best to understand, and that's what we're here for. And the other thing is that because we don't know, because we don't grow up with it, sometimes it's really hard for us to figure out what are the appropriate ways to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. How do we know whether to follow or not to follow? How do we know what's dangerous? Where should we be careful? Where should we be teaching them? How do we teach them well, right? To drive a car, we know how to teach them what to do, right? We know where the gas is. We know where the brake is. If we're adventurous, we know how to use a stick shift. But this, we don't really fully understand ourselves. I know that I had people signing up for this challenge who didn't even have a Facebook group, right? Had never been on Facebook. And so if you're not really into it, you definitely don't understand how it works. But that's okay, because that's what we're here for, and that's what we're gonna dip our toe into over the next 7 days. So let's get into what we're gonna do over the next 7 days. Over the next 7 days, we're going to dive in deep together, and we're going to look at the world of social media. We're going to understand a little bit about what the world is that your daughter's living in. I'm going to challenge you to find out what she's involved in and what she's doing. We're going to look at some applications. We're going to talk about some of the really important implications of what your daughter and sons are facing these days and what impact it's having on your lives and on their lives, and what it is that you need to know to be able to help them, to be able to support them, and to create healthy boundaries. So what do you need to do in order to be successful? The first thing that you need to do is to carve out the time to listen to these trainings every day. I'm going to try to keep them short. Today might be a little bit longer because it's the first day, but I'm going to try to keep them to about 10 to 15 minutes every day. You want to make sure that you set a time in your calendar to do this, because both of us know that your calendar gets really crazy, and if you're not going to set a time, most likely you're not going to do it. So that's number one. The other thing is that you're going to get a task from me to do every day. Sometimes it's going to seem like an easier and simpler task, and sometimes it's going to be one that actually requires some more work. Doing the task is a really important part of this challenge. If you want to get the most out of it, if you want to be successful, what you need to do is you need to find the time to do the task. Okay? Figure it out, how to make it happen. I know that you can. We both know that what's important to us, we find time to do. So that is the second part. The third part, which is really important, is the Facebook group. I've created a private Facebook group for this challenge, which means that if you go inside and you sign up, first of all, you have to be approved by me. And if you post, it'll show up on your own wall, but it won't show up on the wall of anybody who is not inside the group. I've done this so we can create a safe space to share what's really going on in your home. So many parents that I talk to really feel and think that what they're going through is only them. They are the only one. There's sometimes a lot of shame or a lot of fear or a lot of anxiety of sharing these things in public, of what people might think or what people might believe. And I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. No matter what it is that your son or daughter is going through, that you're going through, I guarantee that there is at least one other person, if not 10, 20, or 50, who are going through the same thing. And so by you sharing your thoughts, your concerns, what it is that you're going through, you're not only supporting yourself because you're opening yourself up to get support from me and from everybody else who's part of this challenge. There's a tremendous amount of collective knowledge here. But you are also allowing what other people might be having a hard time to express to come out and give them an opportunity to really share what's going on in their life. So please make sure that you go on, you share the results of your tasks. I'm going to give you specific things to be sharing in our Facebook group, and share and be honest, because let's be honest, love that. Let's be honest about being honest. If we're not honest, we're not really going to get the most out of it. And what I want for you is to get the most out of this experience and learn as much as you can, given the limited amount of time that we have. Good on that? Awesome. So what I want us to do now is I want us to take a minute and set our intention. I want us to, any task that I go into, I think it's really important to be clear why I'm here. Why I'm here and what I expect to get out of it. It makes sure that at the end of it, I'm a lot more successful. So what I want you to do, since I know you carved out the time today, is I want you to close your eyes right now and with me take a few deep breaths. Trust me, this is going to be worth it. Even if this is a little weird for you and you're not used to doing these things, just trust me and close your eyes right now. Okay, close your eyes. What I want you to do, as you're taking some deep breaths with me right now, is I want to make sure that you have your feet planted firmly on the ground. This is really going to help ground you. Make you feel like you have a strong base and that you are supported like you are. And I want you to see your son or your daughter in your mind, all your kids if you have several. And I want you to allow yourself to connect to the worry you feel for them. The reason that you're here with me today, that brought you to this challenge. I want you to see it in your mind. Just allow that reel of worry and concern and doubt. Maybe there's a specific issue that you're dealing with right now which brought you to this challenge. And maybe it's just your general need and want to keep them safe. Really allow yourself to feel it right now. And now what I want you to do is I want you to connect to the love that you feel for them. That deep love that you feel that really can't be replaced or changed no matter what happens. And let yourself fully and deeply feel it. And what I want you to do now is I want you to look and see, what would this look like if everything was as you hoped for and wanted? See the smiles, the connection, the happiness, the love. Just take it in. All the things you would like and want your relationship to be. And I open your eyes. And with this love is how I want you to approach this challenge. From that feeling of love, leaving the fear behind, leaving the worry behind. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is because when it comes to social media, it brings up a tremendous amount of fear. It brings a tremendous amount of worry. And I won't lie, there are a lot of dangers out there. There's a lot of dangers out in the world in general, and the world of the internet provides a opportunity for danger to come in a much easier way than it would have otherwise. It's true. We're not gonna sugarcoat that. It is true. But if you approach it from that place, all you're gonna do is push your teenager away. First of all, because they can feel your fear, and fear is not attractive. So they're going to run the other way. Second of all, they don't feel that fear, right? Remember yourself when you were a teenager. You thought you were invincible. And so coming to them from fear just makes them think that you really don't understand what you're talking about and makes them push you away even further. Yet if you come to them from the deep love that you feel from them, from the caring and the concern, and from wanting them to really be their best, make good choices, grow up to be amazing adults, and be the amazing person that they are right now, well, that's a lot harder to push away. So that's where I want you to come to this challenge for, and that's where I want you to come to today's task with that love, with that complete devotion that you have to them. So as I was saying, during this challenge, we're going to be looking at the world your daughter lives in today. And by the way, throughout this challenge, I'm going to say daughter a lot because I teach a lot about daughters, but I do mean daughters and sons. So don't worry about that. Most of the things that I'm going to talk about are not gender specific. If they are, I will mention it. So as I was saying, we're going to talk about the world your daughter lives in. We're going to talk about the challenges that the exposure to internet, especially from a young age, brings, and what are the things that you may not be aware of at all that she's facing right now. We're going to talk about the impact on her social life, on the way she sees her sexuality, and important things like that. We're also going to talk about some practical things. We're going to talk about apps. We're going to talk about the big question, do I follow or not follow? To what extent? What is age appropriate? And I want you to know that as we go through, there are certain parts where I'm going to talk about different ages. I know that the people in this challenge have kids in a lot of different ages. And there are different things that are appropriate for different ages. So to the extent that we can, on the limited time that we have together, I'm going to try to separate for yourself different things that are appropriate for different ages. So just so you know that that's coming. So let's start with today's task. First of all, I want you to go get a pen and paper. If you don't, go get one. I'm going to take a second to look at my notes while you get something to write with. And the task that I want you to do today is really quite simple. The question that we're going to ask is, do you actually know what your daughter's really up to? And the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to sit with yourself and I want you to ask yourself the honest question. Do I actually know where my daughter/son is spending their time when they are on their phone/iPad/computer/anything that has Wi-Fi? Okay? What are they actually doing with their time? How are they spending it? Be honest with yourself, and I want you to write down a list of the things that you think that they are doing, and how much time do you think that they're spending per day on their on anything, by the way, that has Wi-Fi. Okay, we're going to put it all together. The next thing that I want you to do is I actually want you to go investigate and find out the answer. Now you can do this in a lot of different ways. You can either go up and ask them directly, right? Hey, what are they doing? How much time do you think they're spending? You can tell them that you're taking a course and you need to find out, or you can do it in an indirect way, which is usually what works better with teens. Okay, and you can do that by asking them to show you the latest thing that they're into. There are a lot of different sophisticated ways to do it. You can teach you a whole class on it. Find the way that works for you and try to find out what you can. Now, it's possible that for some of you, you're not going to be able to find out. That's okay. You're going to find out whatever you can. And what you're going to do with these two pieces of information is you're going to take what you thought, what you have found out, and share with us on Facebook those two pieces of information, as well as was there a correlation between what you thought and what you found out, or if you weren't able to find out, what was that like and what was that experience like. I'm reminding you that our Facebook group is a safe space and there are rules for the Facebook group. I ask that you go in and read those rules before you comment and share on the Facebook group. Anyone who is not able to maintain the rules and the safe space that we've created, I'm going to remove from the group. So please be mindful. Remember, it is not your job to educate anybody in this group. It is not your job to be their coach. That's what I'm here for. Offering support, offering advice, always welcome. But this is a safe space, and our goal is to make everybody comfortable at the place that you are at right now. Okay? I promise there is no judgment at all on where you are right now. So, I think that's going to be all for today. I think that's going to be quite a bit of a task for you for the next 24 hours. I have a lot to teach you over the next 7 days, a lot more than I possibly could, like I said. That's why I have a whole 4-week course for this. But I promise you that if you engage in this challenge, if you do the tasks that I'm giving you and take them seriously and share in the group and get feedback, you're going to walk away from the next 7 days being really clear on what your next steps are and what you need to do to keep your daughter safe online, and your son, of course. So in the meantime, go do your homework, just like you tell your kids all the time. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on day 2 of our social media challenge. I'm Tova Gar, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day.